Welcome back to Seen It Before, where we're probably going to say something stupid about your favorite movie because we've seen it all before. I'm Danny.
And I'm Dan. Whip. Anyway, that was bad. So today we're doing Into the Spider-Verse. Across the Spider-Verse. Wow.
Yeah, that's going to be confusing. That's a thing. Yeah. It's going to be confusing with the titles.
Yes.
The next one's Beyond the Spider-Verse.
We're very excited going into this movie, and oh my god, it's like a mind fuck in certain parts. There's so much going on. The animation is beautiful. Let's skip all that stuff right now. Let's bring in our guests. We got our
guests.
They've all been on before in separate instances. We got Mike and Alyssa.
I think the only one person has been on, but
oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, Mike and Alyssa. Yeah.
Welcome back. It's been a while. How are you guys? How are we?
Are we allowed to talk now?
Yeah. Yeah. You guys are here.
Waiting for the cue.
And then we got Sean and Scott back again from the Mame Men Podcast.
Greetings.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh my God. I didn't even know you were going to do that. I'm so happy you did that.
Surprise.
So you guys looking under the table and couldn't figure out what was going on.
We're just like loading our web shooters.
I forgot my backpack.
Hold on. Everyone relax.
Oh man. Wow. That was great. I hope there's more surprises like that coming.
That's all I got for the record.
All right. But yeah, we're Seen It Before. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok with the handle @SeenItBeforecast. That's SCENE It Beforecast. And on Twitter with the handle SIB_pod. Enough of that stuff. Let's get to it.
You can't run forever, kid.
Across the Spider-Verse is out in theaters at the moment, currently while recording this. And I got to say, I'm a little bit blown away.
You're a little bit blown away. Yeah, the animation alone just blows you away. Just like the first one, Into the Spider-Verse. Yep. I mean, it won stuff, right?
Yeah,
I think it won stuff.
It probably won Best Animated Picture. It probably won some sort of anime. It had to have won like at the BAFTAs or some shit. Like, I don't know.
I got it. Oscar for Best Animated Feature. All right, there we go.
Because I remember seeing because I bought the Blu-ray after the fact and it had like 9 nominations and stuff. You know,
it was so well received in 2018 when it came out, 2019 Oscars, and this one has, I think, an even better chance with the visuals alone.
Yeah, because back in 2018, that Into the Spider-Verse sort of revolutionized or kind of pushed the medium of animation forward a lot, because we were kind of stuck in this kind of Pixarification style of animation for at least 20 years, and now this one has the balls to just do some sort of it looks like cell shading, it looks like old school 2D animation, but they're doing it through computers. Kind of like how South Park does it, where it has a very defined style. And that's another thing about these movies where everybody has their own, every universe has its own style, and they stick to that throughout. So
let's start with Sean Scott. What did you guys overall think of the movie? No big spoilers, just what did you think of it?
No big spoilers.
Well, no, go ahead.
Spoiler alert, Sean is going to get ripped apart this podcast.
Oh no.
I mean, it was pretty good. It was pretty good, but I don't think it was better than the first one. And I was telling the Seen It Before guys, even though I knew it coming,
Can't use our names. Can't use our names.
Dan and Danny.
Sorry. Even though I knew the to be continued or whatever, spoiler alert, I guess.
Oh, dude,
it was coming. I'm like, dude, oh god, that shit sucks. I don't want. I mean, yes, there was a lot in there, but
I agree. I don't think it was as good as the first one, because the first one they did it first. You didn't expect that movie going into it.
Yeah.
You sort of expected something more going in here, but it was right. Number one is a 9.8 in CGC skills. This is a 9.6. This is right there.
No
way. I can agree with that one. I can totally agree with that.
The art alone, and we talked about it. That was the first thing you said afterwards.
Well, yeah, I mentioned the art is super dope. Like Danny mentioned it. You said cell shading, but isn't
chromatic aberration?
Jeez, this guy's got the name. But
I didn't know that's what it is.
So what they do is they draw it first and then they animate over it, correct?
Well, it's the cells don't line up, and it's the way that the colors come into the spectrum, and then they reverse. So you see an edge. It's just
it's a callback to how they did in the comics. So when they were going through the machine, the red, yellow, and blue would get kind of
it was the way they printed.
It's misprinted or such.
And that just added a little charm to it. So
speaking of printed, Sean, Scott, I hear you guys have a few things.
Oh boy,
here it is.
Yeah, why don't you show us what we got?
Go with
this one first.
All right. Well, this one here. This is a first appearance 2099 graded.
God.
Nice.
So that's Miguel, aka Spider-Man 2099. What does she call him in it? Dark Garfield?
Dark Garfield.
We got a Spider-Gwen.
This is probably like it's considered a blue chip, right? So
9.8 to 9.8
is the highest you can get. You cannot get a 10.0.
Should you pay
So
for
there's
that
never
one?
been one?
How much did I pay for it?
Yeah.
Cover price. Yeah. I bought it when they came out.
What do you think the value?
Oh, wow.
It could be today.
eBay it.
It's like
Look it up on eBay.
It's like $2,500.
Yeah, I believe that.
Shit.
Yeah, that's
And then we got
Wondering.
this one.
that's going to sit there forever. And then this is the first Miles. We got
Miles number one.
shafted on this one because it's an 8.0.
Yeah, they gave us an 8, but that's garbage. So at CGC, like, this book's coming back.
So basically, this book, right? The backstory behind Miles is like they killed Spider-Man, and this kid was walking around. Who was he fighting? He was fighting the kangaroo at first, and
Kangaroo.
yeah, he's just like a random like C-list villain for Spider-Man.
Like the Spot.
Oh,
Wow.
we'll get there. We'll get there.
Because I had
Not
high
an
hopes for
everyday
the Spot.
villain. Not an everyday villain of the week.
The Spot, fun fact, fights Daredevil more than Spider-Man, and he gets his ass kicked by Daredevil.
Another comic book reference, since we're on it, I'm reading the Carnage right now, and Carnage just went after the Spot in that comic.
The
so
Spots,
stay tuned.
I have a first Spot at home.
Yeah,
I have a lot.
we didn't want to bring them all.
We didn't want to bring them all. We have
fair.
Jonathan Omen.
Season
home.
collectors.
We would have
over
brought
here.
some if we knew that this was an option.
Yeah.
It's always
Oh,
an
you guys
option.
collect
I've seen
comics
it
too?
before.
Well,
He
just
does.
just me. Not her.
What do you collect?
Spider-Man.
Oh, Spider-Man.
Of course.
What do you have?
Look at his
Like
shirt.
amazing and everything.
Amazing. I have issues 298 to the current right now, and then a bunch of
All the way up from 298.
all the way up
Nice.
298 to the current run, and then
Nice.
a bunch of issues from.
All right, so you got Spider-Gwen.
I have the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The only one I don't have in that mix is
Miles.
Miles.
So let's get into some of that stuff in the movie. It opens up with Gwen. Let's do it different this time. So we see her like in a band, the Mary Janes.
Yeah,
that was kind of
I
funny.
caught that. And was like,
That was
there you go.
nice. And then her world is like this pastel,
It's like
watercolor
watercolors, yeah.
type
Watercolor.
of stuff. That was so cool.
Jinx, you owe me
so
a Coke.
That's my thing. I do that.
Yeah, it was, you always win, but now I win. So, yeah. Anyway, pastel watercolors and stuff, and then so you like the whole backstory is like well, it's different this time. So now Peter Parker is like the one who's powerless, but now is obsessed with he becomes the Lizard. So it's like
Yeah, that was
different alternates.
I didn't expect that.
I was expecting because like I'm a huge fan of Spectacular Spider-Man, and in that one they have
We're getting there too.
the vial of a what's it called, globulin green,
Yeah.
where it turns you into the Green Goblin. It's so I was expecting that to happen, but you know the Lizard's a cool thing too.
That was, I think that their world when they went to Gwen's world was so cool, and like when you see her for the first time in the first one, and then in this one even, she's not doing the color changing when like she's in the other world.
Yeah, she looks regular.
That was my one ding on the movie was they like did this with her world and it was incredible. It looked awesome, but she didn't do it outside of her world, which was kind of weird because the rest of them sort of like Hobie did that too. Like
That's kind of keeping the consistency with a cameo we see
Yeah.
later on, though, in the movie with Donald Glover as the Prowler.
Yeah.
like it stays consistent with. I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird.
I think they just kind of wrote themselves into a hole with the first one. They didn't expect to have.
Yeah.
Because
The
like
success.
her world and Peter B. Parker's and Miles, they all had the same style ish, and then I
Right.
do like the change, but yeah, I can see you dinging it for that.
that's why it's a 9.6, not a 9.8.
Well, to further on the dinging, because you know
Oh,
me.
God, here we go.
Well,
And so it begins.
Danny said they wrote themselves into the hole, and he's right because with the whole bracelets thing. So when Hobie, Spider-Punk, whatever Parker,
Oh yeah, he drops it.
he drops it. He says, "I'm out of here. I quit." He drops his bracelet and dips out, and then later he sends his bracelet to Spider-Gwen. And,
Why didn't he-
and
well,
then
There's
and
a
then,
different bracelet that
that
he sent
he
her.
built
though.
it.
Well,
He
yeah,
made it. He built it.
But then to get even to more nitpicky on it, how would he have dropped it off? I mean, I guess he could have opened the portal and walked through it and dropped it. You know what I mean? I'm thinking there must have been a third one for him to portal there,
That's
drop
what he's saying. Yeah, like he made a new one.
The one he gave to Gwen, because throughout when he's at the base or whatever, he's kind of picking up little things, like how Rocket's picking up stuff.
Oh,
and
that's
Guardians.
true.
He builds it.
Shoot. And I mentioned it earlier before getting on the podcast that the scene where she goes back to make up with her father,
yeah.
I think it's pink. Or is
Yes,
it purple?
it was blue, and then it turned pink once she
Yeah.
hugged
Yeah.
him. That was
There, like all like the watercolors running down. That was cinematically
yeah.
awesome.
I mean, it mixes with her. I mean, she's
Her
a
hair.
musician too. Like when she's playing the drums and everything, and it's doing that in the background.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, from the opening
Just
scene.
yeah,
stuff.
it's to go with like the music theme. I think just like changing on the fly.
I initially didn't notice that they were going to stick to the whole animations for each universe thing until the Vulture comes in, because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh wow, this is
very
like
Da Vincian.
I thought
Yeah.
like for a second they were trying to do like an unfinished like draw, like, you know, looks like a sketch kind of, which it is, but I didn't realize that. I didn't put it two and two together. We said, oh, you're from the other universe. I'm like, oh,
Ah.
you're from some Da Vinci universe. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that is really cool. And like he even talks like, you know, like the old school
Yeah.
English kind of way, and like, so I like that. Like I don't know, you see like homages to all these different villains and stuff.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, you see these editor's notes in the corner, which is really cool.
Yeah.
as well.
So
Yeah,
good.
that,
love
the
that.
callback
Nice
to comics.
touch,
Yeah,
nice
that's so
touch.
sick.
The
I had a
chain.
complaint during the Vulture part.
Oh.
After the scene and everything, when all the statues and everything's getting teleported in.
Oh, yeah.
They made the Banksy joke again.
Yes.
in this
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that
Oh, they made that one
irked
before?
me more than anything else. I was like, come on, guys. I was like, just let it die.
Yeah, it's-
Low hanging fruit.
Can never
man.
die.
Yeah,
Can
and
never
it's like
die.
now I'm just expecting it in the next one.
Yeah,
And it's like now I
definitely.
gotta listen for it.
That
Although-
the voice of that guy was one of the Lonely Island guys too.
The guy who said it's a Banksy.
Vulture
Oh.
was Yorma.
Oh, Yomer Takone?
Yeah, he was the
Takone,
Vulture's
yeah.
voice.
Yeah. Speaking of voices, the one who played the Peter Parker in Gwen's universe was Jack Quaid.
Oh yeah, I saw
Yeah.
him in the IMDb because
Wait,
like
really?
it's just
Yeah.
filled with
It's Jack
people
Quaid.
and like yeah, because you had what like Issa Rae and Daniel Kaluuya, and you had obviously Jake Johnson coming back, and
Andy Samberg.
yeah,
Yeah, so
I
all
think-
these people.
Honestly, I think my other favorite voice actor that was in it was that Spider-Man India was actually Dopinder from.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I thought that was really
That was-
funny
yeah.
when I found that out.
Yeah.
he was really good.
Wait, who voiced 2099 or Scarlet Spider-Man?
That's Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg.
Yeah.
That's
he was so good.
my biggest complaint in the movie. Was
Really?
Scarlet Spider was being in it. That was my biggest complaint.
You don't like Ben?
No, it's just it didn't make
We could've
sense.
brought that one.
It didn't make sense to me. that he was in it.
Really?
Wait, it didn't make
Well, he
sense.
explained
Hold
it
on
to
a
me too,
second.
and it didn't make
Yeah,
sense
I
when
wanna
he
hear, I
said
wanna
it.
hear.
Because he's a clone of Peter Parker.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
so
So
6'10".
Yeah, so I just wanted like a nod or something that this person isn't the.
Well, they called him
original.
Ben.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
call
you
him
call Ben,
Ben and
right,
everything. but
Yeah.
it didn't make sense because in that universe, Peter Parker is still
A Spider-Man.
is still Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but-
so why would Ben be there and not?
But his
Peter
style was
Parker?
different though than that one. So my thought was he came from another universe.
Yeah, universe
Well, I'm
where
thinking-
that Peter died and Ben's the,
Well,
the
there's
real one.
the- I
mean,
just
that
wish-
did
that's what I mean.
happen.
I mean, I want them just like give me a little call
nod.
on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
a
could've
little nod
given-
to it because it just felt out of place. It's
They
just
could have
like,
given us Chasm.
Wait. So what?
That's
That would have been sick. That would have been sick.
Deep cut Chasm is
But
a winner.
but so who's that universe Spider-Man? The Ben
Peter.
Riley.
It's either Peter. It's Peter B, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Peter B. Parker is
Okay.
technically would be that universe.
Yeah, so 616 is the comic universe, and then but Ben Reilly's very much in the comic book, the 90s comic style. So so that gets me thinking because like Gwen is in canon gone for months with this like Spider-Verse cop patrol thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that like it's all in real time. They're all on the same pace of timing through in every universe. So like when Gwen was gone for a few weeks in the first time, that was a few weeks in her universe time, right? Like is that?
I don't think it's really explained.
No, no.
I'm following what you're saying.
Yes,
I
the
see,
timelines are all wibbly wobbly, timey wimey,
But
man.
that's what it's supposed to be.
Like, how can you explain? Oh, this was 8 months for me, but like if you're time traveling, you can come back to the very same moment. You don't have to wait those actual 8
don't-
months.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a Rick and Morty thing where it's like it's not there's no time travel.
Yeah, they're not
Like,
time
it's
traveling.
just universe hopping.
Correct. So they're moving at the same pace in time, just changing their
Dimension.
Y value.
But if that's the case, then how could? Well, I guess I'm thinking about the
But there's
Miguel
no.
story.
Sorry, I'm just going to cut you off right there. If there's no time travel in this universe, then how do they know all these certain events lead to
Exactly,
different
that's what I'm
things?
saying. How do you
Yeah,
go
different
back to-
universes?
exactly.
Yeah. How would you know that if you didn't have time travel?
Well, I think that Lila just like mapped it all out. So they like, I mean, maybe the universes started at different times, so they're like all offset. I don't know. That's a good question.
Also, Lila seems to be an important character, figure, or whatever.
Lila is awesome.
So we need some more explanation of that. Is that a 2099 thing?
Yeah, it's his like AI. It's his Jarvis.
I guess I'm not too familiar with that.
Oh man, you got to read. You have some 2099.
Well, I read the other one where he's got the white and red suit. I think it's still my guess.
Maybe
Scott.
she's a part of the TVA. Variants here.
So Scott, fill us in on how like all about Miguel, because he's a vampire and
he's
also
not a vampire. I don't understand
Is that just a thing?
Did that?
They just added that in? Like,
I think that was just a joke.
I don't
I
know.
assumed it was real.
they brought it up
No,
twice.
No,
though.
he's got special. He's got different
He
abilities. He's got
has fangs,
and
but he can't like retract them though.
Yeah,
his
and
hands
has
he
to-
can.
Yeah, he has to drink. It's not
Take that stuff every time.
He has to take that stuff every time.
The green goo.
It's kind of like a. Yeah, it's close enough to a vampire.
So 2099, right? He just was like a scientist at Alchemax in the future, and he was obsessed with Spider-Man. And
The
they,
year 2099.
yeah, and they just like created this formula to try and replicate Spider-Man, and he died, or no, he was severely injured, and he took the stuff and became Spider-Man. Like that's just how it sort of did, and now he has to like survive off of it.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so because I played him a little bit in that Shattered Dimensions game or whatever. That's the first time I was
Yeah.
introduced to
Oh,
him.
that game was sick.
I loved it. And then I just thought he was just. I mean, I guess the original concept, he's just Spider-Man in the future, right?
No, like Peter existed in their universe just before, and they just wanted to like.
Yeah, 2099 is the main Marvel continuity,
Right.
just in 2099.
We're going into back to Miles now, and they start again. And he's been doing this for like 14 months. I want to say it's been 14 months since we saw him last.
Yep.
Yeah. So he ends up fighting the Spot the very first time, and
Right.
in the bodega. Yeah, that one.
And one of my favorite joke in the entire movie was like, "Hey, who left this ATM here on the street?"
And then the bread just starts falling.
Yeah, it's like
That was fantastic. That was the first time where I like audibly laughed. I was like, oh man.
Even though we saw it too, I mean, because it was in all the ads and stuff.
Yeah, it was, but like-
it was
Forget
still
about that,
good.
like,
It was
yeah.
still so good.
the whole time I'm trying to pinpoint who is the Spot, because I recognize that voice the entire time. I'm like, is
Jason
it like
Schwartzman.
is it Neil Patrick Harris? Yeah, but it's Jason Schwartzman. So, and I even thought it was Aziz Ansari at one point, because like he kind of like the rambly kind of like
Oh, yeah,
high voice and this kind of thing. But yeah, but it's like I saw the credits. I'm like, of course it's fucking Jason Schwartzman.
Yep. Yeah,
So-
but he was great in this movie. He was actually one of my favorites. In the movie.
I like it's kind of like you see him, it's in the background, but you see him like get better and better at using the Spot stuff.
just
So
like
he's a
Miles
joke.
did in the first one.
Right. It's very I mean, I guess they're setting him up to be the nemesis to him. And
He is the greatest nemesis.
yeah. So he's like proclaiming to be like, it totally is not in the beginning, and then like halfway through he's like fucking super mega powered like
Yeah, go through all the colliders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he ends up going to the fight of the first movie. We end up in the collider area.
yeah. Which it was vertical at that time.
Yeah.
That like, I noticed that because like so this because that was a different universe, because that was in Spider-Man India's.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
yeah.
that's right.
So
yeah, he's where the big fight happened in the first one, and
Yeah.
he disappears into this nowhere with a bunch of spots everywhere, and
Right.
he can basically control the multiverse or go into any multiverse. He goes into a random comic panel. He goes into the
finds-
Lego universe, which
Lego
was
universe was
hilarious.
Probably one of my
Yeah.
favorite parts
Best
of
part
the
of the
entire
movie.
movie.
Well, and then what did they go to after that? They went to a funny one too.
He
after
went
that.
into another one.
well, he goes
before
into
that, too.
Venoms.
Venoms.
Oh
yeah.
yes, dude.
Yeah. The Venom mints.
Yes, that was sick. The Venom
That was
verse.
dope.
Did you see the mints when he grabbed them? When he grabbed them down, it said Venom
Yeah,
mints on
Venom
it.
mints,
I was like, oh, man. Because they had to hit it over the head.
Well,
did.
what?
They did.
All right, but I said this: the live action interactions I thought were done well. Like they bring back Donald Glover at one point.
Whoa,
That
whoa,
was-
whoa, 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 whoa! We're not there
We're
yet.
not there yet. All right,
Somebody
sorry.
already said it.
I already said it. Yeah, I already said it. But it's
Spoilers. Spoiler
fine. No, it's
alert.
fine. It's not. We're talking about the movie. It's not a spoiler.
Everybody in the theater gasped when
Yeah.
Glover
Yeah.
was.
I had that
was my
spoiled
favorite
from me on
part.
Twitter before I saw the movie.
Yeah, I saw
Oh,
it.
that's terrible, man.
I saw it 2 hours before too.
I thought it
Oh,
was-
that's what you were talking
No,
about.
This
At least it
close.
wasn't, at least it wasn't
that
Sep, because she was in the bathroom towards the end of the movie,
Yeah.
and then someone spoiled the big twist at the end.
Oh,
So that must have sucked for her.
Oh
Yeah,
my god, I was so
was-
pissed off.
Yeah,
What was the big twist at the end?
I thought it was fake,
in the
honestly.
wrong
The video,
universe.
the thing I
wrong
saw on
universe.
Twitter.
Even got
So
there
I was
yet.
like, oh, that's not real. And it was real.
Yeah.
So
I caught that twist because I remember very vividly they say Brooklyn 1610 right in the beginning.
you were getting way ahead of yourself.
And then, but I saw there's like we're sending you to Universe 42, and
There's
like, oh
one
shit.
tell-all. Once we get there, I caught the tell-all. I caught
Okay. Gwen comes to Miles' universe. Gwen, they have a good time, they hang out, and then she's on a separate mission this whole time, not just hanging out with Miles. So she puts the tracker thing in front of where the Spot is hiding out, which I don't know if you guys caught it, but on the top of that sign, it's an Everything Everywhere All at Once cameo or thing.
Oh no, I gotta look for this
So
one.
it is here, I have it right here. It's called All of It Always All All of It Always All Over the something. I
All
can't
over the place?
All over the place, yeah. It's the sign on top of the building. It's
Oh my God.
hilarious.
That's funny.
And
I'm
then the
excited to
bagel
watch
is
this.
everywhere in this movie as well. Oh my god.
I love the bagel jokes.
So
I love
funny.
how that's his
That's his origin.
It's so stupid, but like yeah, because sometimes you just like the littlest thing just pushes you over the edge.
they brought
Although I
One
had
bad
an
day, right?
issue with that though, because they said, "Oh, you threw a bagel at me," and then so I went back after yesterday morning. We watched Into the Spider-Verse with Logan and my son, who's being raised on Spider-Man, and we watched it. And I was watching that scene, and I'm like, "Man, that guy gets hit with a bagel." That doesn't look anything like the picture of Dr. Owen that they show. Like he's got a beard. and
Yeah, he had
everything.
long hair and a long beard.
The guy
I noticed
that
that as
hits
well.
with the bagel
was
is just a
clean-shaven.
skinny guy, clean
Yes.
shaven. I'm like,
It,
I
it,
wonder
it
why
didn't
they
really
did
make
that.
sense.
Because like they could just go back and look at because like it doesn't matter because his whole body changes.
Yeah.
By the end of it,
which
So-
that was a great character design too. Like,
Oh my God,
and you
yeah.
could see like the underlined drawings on his shoulders and
Yes.
his face and everything.
Yeah,
I
that
like,
was cool too.
very,
because
very
it's so
well
basic.
unfinished.
Yeah,
There's no features at all, and besides like the black spots. So
Like a
it
little bit
was
of a
nice.
gut. It was
It was
really
He's got a
nice
little
to see
bit of
the
a belly
detail.
too. Yeah.
really cool design.
And also, well, he says it's all skin, so I'm wondering if he's like they obviously don't show his
Where's the hoo ha?
His wang?
thing, like
His wang, Danny? You're asking about his wang, bro?
I'm curious. I don't know.
It's a PG movie. This isn't the 80s PG.
He said it was skin. Is he wearing like his underwear got just they say that my underwear got fused to my body and now it's white.
Why is that?
like a
why
Barbie
is that
doll.
where your mind goes?
It's a human. Never mind.
Oh my God, they're gonna go into Barbie's universe.
Perfect.
It's
all coming together.
Ultimate crossover.
Miles is kind of having the Spider-Man 2 issue with like juggling life, juggling
Yep.
Spider-Man. They kind of get like through the main part of it, so we're not like, oh my god, doing this again. And then, but they make it funny with like Brian Tyree Henry, like his dad is like.
I always forget that's his dad.
They say, what do they say? There's like on my way or something, but it's like, am I right? It's like the.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
it's all
funny.
one
He
word.
wait it in one word. It's funny, right?
Yeah,
or he says
yeah,
it's cute, right?
The kids.
Yeah, like it's
youth.
there's these quick little jokes they just keep throwing. And it's like it's really
Yeah.
it's staggeringly funny, and he gets a B in Spanish, which is just hilarious.
That whole
mom
exchange.
I thought his mom was gonna like rip his head off. I swear to
Speaking of
God.
that, I loved his mother in this, Luna Lauren Velez. She was fantastic.
Is that the same one who did it in the first movie?
I think so. I
Because
don't,
she was the mother in Richie Rich. If anyone's seen, I know you.
Wait,
yeah,
what?
of course.
The old Richie Rich movie, the one.
One with Macaulay Culkin?
Yeah.
yeah, she is the
Their
same one.
friends. So it's her. It's
Yes.
his friend's mother, who she's like a foster mother to all these kids. You ever seen the Richie Rich movie?
No.
Wait, I'm trying to
do
Put it
yourself
on
a
the
favor.
list. Put it on the list.
Okay, so I might. Can you show me a picture of her? Because I in my head I had like the like the mom. She's one of the girls from Orange Is the New Black.
Sure.
Oh, is that? Oh, it's what's her face? LaGuardia from Dexter.
Yes,
Yeah, Maria LaGuardia.
Maria LaGuardia.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
she was the mother in Richie Rich. And
I gotta
like,
go back.
childhood. I was like, oh,
Call
man.
back.
Yeah.
Call back.
They were having all these troubles, like with they think Miles is out doing drugs or doing gang activities and all that stuff. They're thinking the worst of him.
no, he's just
he's a good
Spider-Man.
kid. And yeah, no, she has this moment with him up on top after Gwen like leaves the
Yeah.
party or whatever. And she's like, just you do you, basically.
I
Just-
ungrounded him.
I ungrounded him. It's so funny. It was just a very nice moment. And
They like made her character so cool too because like in today's day and age, like all the women characters are getting like awesome, badass, like I'm the leader, I'm in charge role. We don't get like that motherly figure much anymore. But that's an awesome freaking role.
Miles' mom. Yeah.
Yeah, Rio was she was great in this movie, both this version and the 42 universe. Like both of those iterations of her
the same. Yeah,
were
right.
awesome. Like they really hit that character archetype, I think, really well, and that's crucial to Peter. Like he needs May. Yeah. Miles needs his mother. Like it's also, a really good role.
A cool thing about the 42 universe is really subtle, but like she's still staying strict because obviously his dad's dead in that universe, but you can tell like she's trying to like, you know, hold up a front for, you know, she's still trying to be like the main guardian of her kid, because for all she knows, you know, he's just a good boy who's not Spider-Man or the Prowler.
But the Prowler version of Miles, that was
You mean
sick.
Tekashi? That's they made him look like Tekashi 6ix9ine. I was like,
What do you mean?
chill. I was like, chill.
So far ahead, it's not even
Chill.
funny.
I know, we'll get there. That was another ding. That was another ding I gave the movie.
What do you
It was
I
like,
can't unsee it now. Why did
that's
you
what he
say
looks
that?
like. That's what he looks like. If you put a 6ix9ine tattoo on his face, you're like, boom, there it is.
Well, it's not like a rainbow.
Yeah, he used the rainbow hair and
he
the
has
rainbow
braids.
But he had the same type of braids, and he had like the same mannerisms. The way he talked was just like very Tekashi Hood, and I was like, I'm not into it. I'm not into it.
See, I liked it.
I'm not that
I don't-
target
I
audience.
thought it was good. I liked it a
Yeah,
lot.
thank you.
It was
I
good. at
loved
being
it up
bad.
until right now.
I don't get the Tekashi 6ix9ine vibes.
Oh, big time. You watch it again, you will.
So before we get into the Spider-Man India universe, so there's this nice moment of Miles and Gwen hanging out on top of a building, and they're doing
Upside down.
upside down. The animation style when she's walking around that looked so
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Oh my god!
I also like the kind of practicality of it, because like if you're standing up upside down and you want to sit down, you can't just do that with
Yeah.
gravity. So she pulls herself to the sitting down. That's so cool.
So
And then
smart.
Miles does the same thing. He kind of pulls himself with his
he's like
hand.
mimicking her the whole time they're flying through the
Yeah,
city too.
but when they got up, not so much. Like it made sense when they sat down, but when they got back up, they kind of like didn't have the same kind of physics.
Yeah.
Because like if you stand up without holding your hand to the underside of this building, you're gonna fall.
Well, no, but they
They-
control where their magnetism is. So like she's just like, okay, hands release, and then she just like lets her body do the rest, and her feet stay. Why is that so hard?
Yeah, I mean, it's what she did like right in the beginning, where she like falls out the window, but she's just on the side of the building, just
Yeah.
straight up.
Guess, man, I don't know.
You're looking for stuff.
You're picking weird things to get
there's
into
no
fights
but-
about.
But that was
Sean,
something. But I only cared about it then because as you mentioned with her webbing herself down and then with Miles doing the hand plant down, like they took the time to think about these things. So I'm gonna take the time to look at it. And when I took
And
the
take the
time,
time to pick
no,
at it.
no. Take the time to
The thing
look
is,
at
I
it.
just don't think it's incorrect. Like I think she just let herself drop.
Yeah, there's-
without letting her feet.
I
drop.
guess it's just too complex for my simpleton mind.
Maybe.
Also, there's no way that his dad doesn't know he's Spider-Man. I mean, it's such a father-son like goofy like relationship while he's trying to be Spider-Man. He's like, maybe if you get off his ass, what'd you say? You know, like he's like, you just let him spread his wings. You know,
He's not
It's-
thinking it's his son, dude.
I don't think so.
I think it's well, I don't know. There's too many slip, like especially in the first one.
There
He's
are
like, I love
slips,
you.
yeah,
and he
but, like-
leaves.
But he's not thinking about it because
No.
he's so wrapped up in like what's actually going on with Miles that like when he's
I mean,
interacting
like,
with Spider-Man, he's not thinking it.
I'll say this: you think I'm a picky pickerson?
Oh, boy.
Well, I won't be picky on the comic book, semantics. How do we not know that Bruce Wayne isn't Batman? How does Miles' dad not know he's Spider-Man?
Yeah, he's got, like, all
how,
these other things.
How
Well,
does Aunt May not know?
Well, that's the thing,
Peter
though.
Parker's Spider-Man.
I mean, recently in comics, like whenever like Aunt May, because Aunt May is like I've always known, like that's like kind of a recent thing that they kind of keep doing, especially in the new Spider-Man game. Like when she's like, she's like,
Yes.
I always knew it was
The
you.
newest
Peter.
2018 that came out.
Okay, well, so was Into the Spider. Yeah. So but yeah, I think it's just. If we're talking about like the writing of this movie, other than like, I guess what Sean's bringing up with the semantics of like, the gravity and and then how we're talking about the timelines, I think it's a really solid through and through. We know the character arcs. There's tons of new Spider-Man and new characters that all are
Great
very well
emotional
done.
beats.
They know what they're doing, and especially like they're kind of just I mean, I complain about this a lot. They're not trying to get a message across. They're just telling a good story, and that's what I go to movies for stories and stuff. So
that's key. The reason why most of us like comics is because it's a real story. We like Peter because he's a kid that's barely got his life together, and he's
Friendly
giving this
neighborhood
thing.
Spider-Man.
Like this kid's barely holding it together, and one small thing comes and like throws his whole world off. You want that triumph story of like he's just a kid, man. I'm getting goosebumps now talking about it. Like it's such like a powerful, simple story. Everyone
like
can relate.
When you said like don't reinvent the wheel. Like we referenced all these comics, and especially with this movie that introduced so many like comic book Spider-Man. Like you had to like keep it close to the comics, and that's something that I like. Like the representations are pretty fair, even down to the Spider-Man 2099. My muscles are so defined. So I liked all of that.
Yeah, I think it's just it's overall like this is the most original Spider-Man movie I think we've gotten compared to like because as we know how we know Spider-Man, it's always Peter Parker. He's always in high school. He always has Harry and MJ and Gwen and the dynamic with Dr. Doc Ock, and so we know all this stuff already, which I think is the very core of Spider-Man, and at least for Peter Parker. And that's another cool thing about this movie. Peter is at the very least at the most the background character. He's a supporting character, and even that version of him isn't the Peter that we know from all the other movies. It's a different version, or it's a more grown up, different take on him that we haven't seen before. Now he's a father, and I think that now I was a cynical hearing about like, oh, they're making a black Spider-Man, a woman Spider-Man, they're making all these like a pregnant Spider-Man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That cynical idea is just like, oh, they're not going to put any effort into the story. But this is like the only franchise that's doing it with like they're telling a good story and making these characters unique and having their own arcs. And now the idea of Spider-Man, which is the whole goal, is elevated above just Peter Parker.
And that's a good point
said.
you're making now, because now with these movies, Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse coming out next year, there's a whole new generation of kids that are growing up with Miles Morales as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like he might be in the next 10 years the Spider-Man most people know instead of Peter
Ask
Parker.
my son.
Yeah.
Well, I was
Ask my
just gonna
son.
say, what's the TV show?
They call him Spin in it, but that's
what's
my son's
the
favorite character.
Amazing Adventures.
It's just called Spidey and His Amazing Friends.
Spidey and His
It's-
Amazing Friends.
yeah,
That show's huge. That
Peter,
show's
Gwen,
huge, man.
and Miles, and like my
kid's
son
show, check it out.
loves Spin. We call him Spin in my house because that's what he is in the show, and like I don't mind that because the whole moniker of like Miles Morales Spider-Man
exactly.
is a lot. He's just Spider-Man, or give him a new name.
But what do they call Gwen? They call her Ghosty.
Ghost Spider, which I kind of like too. Like
I
Ghost
like
Spider is
that.
kind of
That's
cool
cool.
too. Like
Yeah, but he's like Ghosty, right? Does he call her Ghosty?
yeah, but they call like Spidey, Ghosty. Like I don't know. I don't mind it, but yeah, Miles he's hitting kids now that I'm sure comic writers didn't know back then that they could hit. Like it's
It was kind of the same thing with Flash. It's like some people it was Barry Allen, then it was Wally West. So
Yep.
it's kind of where Spider-Man's going through that tradition right now.
Yeah, even Ant-Man.
that's a good one.
Everyone in the comics, Hank Pym is still Ant-Man, but everybody in the MCU who's a fan of the MCU knows him as Scott Lang.
until he hit his wife. He did. It happened.
Well, and honestly, I think to go off of something that Danny had said too about how like he was nervous about having like, a black Spider-Man, a pregnant Spider-Man, a female Spider-Man, everything. Like, I feel like, not to cross into other movies a little bit, like Infinity War and Endgame like did not do any of that correctly. Like that weird scene where they're like, feminism, yeah.
we are.
And then they just like completely like glanced over it like 20 seconds later.
Yeah.
Whereas like you have this universe where there's so many different variations of Spider-Man where they're actually doing it correctly and giving each one an individual story.
Yep.
And to me, I like that a lot. And getting to like explore that in this movie made me like, I feel like it's a hot take because you did not like this one as much as the first one, and neither did you.
I did.
I personally think it's a hot take, but it was better, in my opinion, than the first Spider-Verse movie.
All opinions are valid.
No, I know, but I was just like, I know it's a hot take, and I feel like I'm going to get hit, like a little bit of hate for this one, but
No, definitely not.
to that nature, I mean, I agree with all the things that have been said, but like, should a pregnant woman be driving a motorcycle like that?
She's got superpowers.
You gotta suspend belief, Sean. Come on. It's an animated
Like
sure
she
it's
was
fine.
even sitting on the motorcycle, like holding her stomach, and I'm just like, should
Like, she looks like
really
she's
be
gonna
out
give birth
here?
on that bike. Like,
A real good one is if they like subtly put like water, like if her water broke.
God.
and
she's like, oh shit.
I gotta get out of here.
Catch that, Spider fans.
We end up going into following Gwen following the Spot into Spider-Man India's world. I forget. It's like a rip on Manhattan with India vibes. Moonbatten, yeah, or something like that. It's really cool. The design, of course, very different. And then we get the first instance of breaking the canon, which is a big thing for the second half of this movie, which is so cool because
I love it's like the most overt way of saying we're respecting the canon. This is what needs to happen in the Spider-Man movie or story.
in Spider-Man's story, every Spider-Man.
So, but another thing is like this: they only really focus on the one of the captain of the police force dying because of Spider-Man or related to him or whatever. Yes. There's 5 or 6 other canon points that they haven't even brought up.
They had them. They had Ben Parker in there as a big one. They had. They
mentioned briefly in every other universe, Gwen's
dying.
Gwen died or doesn't work out. She doesn't, So that's my theory of what's going to happen in the end. There's going to be, I think the final battle might end up fighting in like the void that the Spot is in, because they kind of tease that. Because there's a shot where I think it's either the dad or somebody else goes through it, and there's like kind of like, whoa, what is this? And then they stop it real quick.
That's actually a comic book thing too. Like I mentioned the Carnage thing. It's like the Spot has his own universe. It's like an alternate dimension, like void. Yeah. Hence why Carnage was after him.
Yeah, he's in there.
The space between spaces.
It's called like the Spot verse or something like that. Like he gave it a name because it's his own thing that only he can go to. So he gives it a name.
What Carnage run is this?
This the current one.
Oh, I didn't get.
It's like TK Ellis or something like that as the writer. Check it out.
So he kind of going off on a little bit of a tangent. So does Spot think of himself kind of like as a god because he has his own dimension that only he can control?
I think once he goes in there, that's when he realizes he has the potential to be a god,
which is really interesting. So it's like sort of. So is he going to go like the role of Mr. Manhattan or Dr. Manhattan, or or he's going to be like cruel? I
don't know. Like Spot's not like a really nefarious bad guy in most of his stories. He's just like
I don't think he like realizes his own potential. Like he doesn't like with the Spot verse thing. He doesn't realize the potential that he could do.
I think he does. Like he knows his power.
He's
starting to now.
He's not trying to. He's just trying to get by. Like he has
not
no
nefarious. That's a good point.
Ambitions. He's not nefarious, really.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to rob an ATM bank when we first see him. So
ATM machine.
Just to pay his bills, though. Just to pay his bills, guys. Come on.
He doesn't need a house anymore. Like
also, speaking of the ATM, they made that joke twice.
Yeah,
the ATM machine, and then with the
chai tea.
Yeah, I was like,
I like
just once
that.
was
well,
enough.
now it's a life lesson because I'm never going to say chai tea anymore.
it's actually 3 times because he's made a comment about naan being bread also.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I caught on that one too. I was like, all right, that's enough.
Yeah.
I made that joke so many times.
Jeez.
So the only exposure I have to Spot is the 90s animated one, where even that one, he's like even like a low level crook trying to get. He's a rogue because he's going up against Spider-Man because Spider-Man's getting in his way, but he's going up against Wilson Fisk, trying to get him, and he's got this like kind of romantic thing with his lab partner, and I think she ends up getting dropped in one of the holes, and then that's how Spider-Man defeats him. He kind of kicks him into the hole, and then he gets lost, and then we never hear from him again.
The animated,
So I'm not sure if that's how he is in the comics because I know 90s.
That's all you know.
Switched it up.
Yeah.
That's all I know. Yeah. But even then, he was just kind of like, I'm just a scientist. I want to do science things.
Yeah, that's his MO.
The Nueva York, which is the home world of Spider-Man 2099, correct?
Yes.
And that's where all the Spider people are hanging out.
The Spider Society.
Spider Society. Spider people, Spider Society, same thing.
Small group.
I like it. Yeah.
Small group.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, and that's where Miles is taken to Spider-Man 2099 for breaking the canon, and we get this whole expose on the canon, the whole So well done.
It's an exposition dump
Yeah.
scene, but it's done pretty well.
Yeah.
It's
Where
the web of destiny.
Web of Destiny.
They go
I
through
loved
it all.
that. I loved the callback and made me think maybe since they're doing all of these live action tie-ins,
They're doing a Madam Web movie.
that's what I'm saying.
Dakota Johnson, which I thought was an interesting choice
And
because she's
Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney
Black
Sweeney's
Cat.
in
Yes.
it.
Black Cat,
Well,
apparently.
No way.
that's what I'm
I
saying.
don't think
But
she's
on the
Black
table.
Cat.
No, Sydney's
she's someone else. She's young,
Yeah, she's-
young
she's
Madam Web,
She's
isn't she?
another Madam Web.
No, they
There,
just
I think.
announced
Oh,
what
damn.
her role was.
I thought she was gonna
I
be
know,
Felicity.
dude.
Or is
I
it-
know.
would be so cool though. 'Cause
Give us what we
Felicia
want.
Hardy is like
What, her boobs?
Well,
Something like that. Something
Basically.
like that.
basically, but
Yeah.
Black Cat.
Black Cat's the
I
best.
honestly think that the ending to the next Spider-Verse movie is going to be Miles getting,
Live action?
is going to be put in live action.
Yeah.
Sure hope so.
Yeah.
who's
I
gonna?
know.
I thought it was
so.
gonna be this movie. Honestly,
I heard rumors that they want Shmeek Moore, the voice of animated Miles, to play him.
That'd be awesome.
so they would probably like go for because he's like in his I think he's early 20s.
Oh, he would
Yeah.
like
Just
step
Tom-
through
He's
it.
27, same age as
Yeah.
Tom Holland.
You think he'd step through
He's
it, like
27.
animated into live action?
Sort of,
That'd
and
be
I think
sick.
they're trying to use Venom as like Sony is trying to use Venom as like their central
Yeah.
universe. So like
And-
everything is going to go in and out of there.
And I think it's just going to be Andrew Garfield Spider-Man and
I-
Miles Morales is going to
Yeah,
be the
that'd be
universe.
sick.
After No Way Home, I want to see what happened with Andrew's universe. Even if they just have one movie to cap it off, like I'd be fine with that. You know,
Everyone hated Andrew when he was out. That was
okay,
I love
Me too,
that.
baby.
if you guys go back to Duel of the Debates episode 1, it was Who's the Best Spider-Man. I picked Andrew Garfield because he was
Toby.
the shining star of
Miles.
all of those movies. He was. I
It's-
think he's the best
like
the
Spider-Man.
only
Miles, sorry.
star of those.
They all do. They're all in their lane. Like Toby is a great Peter. Andrew's a great
True.
Spidey.
Yeah,
Tom Holland is
exactly.
like
That's why I
a
picked Tom
younger
Holland.
Peter.
Tom
Yeah,
Holland,
exactly.
he's the best. He's
Honestly-
the average both worlds. But
Miles. This kid playing Miles is just freaking on. Like
Yeah,
Miles
he's
is
great.
He's
Miles
he's
is
a
great.
very good Miles.
Shamik Moore is great.
everything around Andrew's movies, though, were just that was the problem, and which is why another reason why, because Amy Pascal is still in charge of Spider-Man and
Boo,
Sony
that
and
woman.
everything. So it just highlights the point of like if you hire talented writers and talented people behind your project who know what the fuck they're doing, you're gonna get a good movie, and that's why like everyone's blaming Kathleen Kennedy, which I think she has
Yes.
she's a
She's
great
awful.
big part.
Yes.
But she's still the one who
Boo.
hired
We
J.J.
fucking hate
Abrams.
her.
She still
Boo.
hired Ryan
We hate
Johnson,
her.
which I think was a decent enough choice at the time, and then he did his own thing. But then she hired J.J. Abrams again, and then Jon Favreau is kind of padding out the stuff with Mandalorian. So it means like you're hiring these like supposed big names that know what they're doing, and it just time and time again they're proving that they're not. And then I can't believe she fired Lord and Miller from Solo.
Yep.
It worked out for the best because now we got these movies because of it. But it's like these guys know what they're doing. I don't think they've had a miss yet.
We were talking about the Web of Destiny stuff that they showed, like right before then that main tree went up. That's the sacred time arm from Loki.
I was gonna
It
say.
was.
I
I,
like it,
yep.
yeah.
I was gonna say because we talked about the what did they call it in this? Not variants. What did they
Canon.
call it? Yeah, breaking canon. In
Yeah.
this when that seems to be the theme of the MCU right now because Loki we did the breaking canon thing.
It's that same look, like these.
It's literally this.
It's the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm saying that it's all. I mean, they clearly alluded to it, but it's all happening. We're
It
all
is.
in the midst
It
of
is.
the breaking of the MCU timeline, the Sony timeline, the Marvel timeline is all happening.
The thing I think that separates this franchise from what Marvel's trying to do is that the Marvel's kind of taking it more in a practical sense. We're like, well, we can kill these characters because there's just another version of them out there somewhere. But this franchise is making these particular versions of the characters that we're growing with. They're important, to the actual story. And like, they understand that if they end up killing Miles as we know him now or something, there's going to be like, this is a new character Miles. It's like we're not going to just copy paste our feelings for this first Miles onto the other. It's the whole reason why like in the animated series I didn't really care for MJ 2.0 after she has like the fake Gwen thing when she falls off the bridge. I'm like, that's not MJ. It's a clone of her, so it's not her. And that's what I just doesn't seem
Show
like
was so good.
other people on the Marvel
That's
side
such a
just
good
don't get it.
callback. You're referring to like didn't
90s.
Hydro Man do all that?
Yeah,
Hydro Man
yeah,
did that.
yeah.
That's such a good callback.
It's such a good show.
Miles finds out that his dad is the reason that he becomes Spider-Man. His dad's death. as
love that
police
realization,
captain. As captain, yeah.
He's like, my dad's
So-
going to be captain soon. Shit.
He's like,
So
and now he realizes, he's like, nah, I'm not doing this. He's going to try and save his dad. So he runs away. All the Spider-Men are going after him. It's a really huge chase scene. Great. We see
Oh, God.
all of them, all the Spider-Men. And before we move on,
stop Spider-Man.
it's time for trivia. All right.
So I
and
think we
I'm
had-
very upset.
We had 6 questions, but now it's 5.
We only have 5
because-
now because I had Andy Samberg as one of those questions.
Oh,
Damn,
but
busted.
it's okay. But it's okay. Okay, so first question. In the original 2002 Spider-Man movie, how many tries did it take for Tobey Maguire to catch everything on the cafeteria tray? A, 5, B, 100, C, 1, D, 34.
I'm not answering this. You guys go.
C.
'Cause I know the answers.
34.
C. It's one. One.
One.
Try.
You know that. You
And-
confident?
Okay, anybody else have an answer?
Spider-Man or them filming, like Toby filming?
The takes. I think he's asking
Take,
how many
yeah.
I was
takes.
going to say 34 because it
Is
sounded
it
realistic.
weirdly
Yeah.
specific?
Yeah.
I could see one being the thing though. Like
I know there's a story
Toby
behind it.
Wolf's
So
'cause Toby's the
The story
goat.
behind it, I think, people say that he caught all that stuff and that was real. No, that didn't never happened. Physically impossible. On one try. That's why I remember because I remember reading this and they said it was on one try and I was just like, I don't think so. But
I remember, I don't think it was one try. I did know that he did physically catch that in real life. Like, there was no CGI, there was no wires or anything. He caught all that. I don't believe it's one try, though. I don't see it being a thing.
There's no way
it
he
was
caught
one
it.
try.
Guys,
It was one
lands
try.
bullshit.
It was one try, guys.
Presented to you.
I mean, one try.
Maybe he practiced. You know, you can rehearse that. You know, you just get a tray. You could do it in your dressing room, man.
Can you, though?
Dang.
It's
perfectly
like,
everything inside the bolt, the milk carton for Christ's sakes, guys.
the open milk carton, nothing splashed out.
Well, I'm
it's
saying
like physics. You can't copy physics.
This
You
is just a
could
wives' tale
practice
that
this.
was put on Reddit 20
No.
years ago. And
You can
took off.
specifically weight the milk carton to fall in this location. You could put a magnet on something. It's movie magic. Come on.
Nah, they're beefing up Toby.
All right,
Well,
guys.
Toby's a man.
Next question.
Next question.
Wait, what was the answer?
One.
Told you
One.
one.
It was.
Yeah, I
Oh,
said
was it?
one.
All
Wow, great reflexes.
So, question number 2. As of Across the Spider-Verse, how many Spider-Man movies have been released theatrically? A, 8, B, 12, C, 10, D, 15.
Spider-Man
Too
guided
many.
movies or movies that
Theatrically released.
that he appears in.
only him. Like, his
Spider-Man
movies.
releases.
His movies.
Spider-Man releases.
What are the numbers again?
A, 8, B, 12, C, 10, D, 15.
10.
12.
Too many.
No. I don't think so.
10. I think it's 10.
The answer is A, 8.
8?
Losers.
The 3 Tobys,
Yeah.
the 2 Andrews,
Oh, I thought there was 3 Andrews.
There's
2
3
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Man, or 3 Tom Holland,
Tom Holland's.
and 2 Spider-Verses.
So that's
Shit,
10.
That was 10. I was
10.
right. Shit. I had 10 before.
10.
Shit. Yeah, no, I had that and I changed it and I didn't think about it. I was like,
Jeez,
wait,
this guy.
I did
can't
real
do
quick
math.
math.
You're
Don't
feeding
make
us
me
false
doubt my
information,
knowledge.
Daniel.
Over here.
Feeding us false information.
I mean,
I had 10 and I changed it
Fake
because
news.
that's why I was on my phone
news.
earlier when
Fact
you guys
check
talked
that
about that
shit.
stuff. I was like,
You know what's cooler than magic? Math.
Are there any other ones? Because there was a Spider-Man trilogy in the 70s where it was technically like a movie where
I don't think it was theatrically
they
released.
spliced together all the different episodes.
Yeah, I don't
know.
think that counts.
I don't think they were.
It wasn't theatrically released.
I don't
though,
think that counts.
And then the only other option would be
Venom.
Spider-Man.
What?
I don't know
Oh,
if he
right,
ever
the
got like a
Japanese
movie
one.
in Japan. I don't know. I don't know that.
All right. Question number 3.
Spider-Man?
I feel like we need to watch this.
It's an amazing time.
Which
It really
Spider-Man
is.
movie has the largest budget at $258 million? A, No Way Home. B, The Amazing Spider-Man. C, Across the Spider-Verse. D, Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3.
I guess Spider-Man.
Is it
3.
I'm
unanimous?
just going to go along with Michael because he knows
Spider-Man
everything about Spider-Man.
That
and
just seems like such a big
been
number
right.
for 2007.
It's ridiculous.
That
It's
is
insane.
the correct answer. Spider-Man 3.
It was
Across the
sickening.
Spider-Verse has $150 million for the
Well, if
budget.
you think about
Hang on, I
someone,
want to hear the numbers.
sorry, I'm gonna ask.
No Way Home, I believe, is $200 million. And The Amazing Spider-Man is also around $200 million.
like one of the Pirates movies is still the highest like budgeted movie in history. It's like, I think it's At World's End or something, or no, On Stranger Tides. The fourth
I don't know
one.
about that, but maybe.
I remember that whole number is like 300 million, like, which is an insane number.
I'm pretty sure James Bond, No Time to Die had over 300 million.
Wait, what was the one where like they were like losing? Yeah, I think it was No Time to Die. Yeah, they were like losing money at waiting to release it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Anyway, question number 4. This actor has a cameo in all 3 Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies and in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Gamble.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell.
The worst person alive.
Don't even need to read
Bruce
it. That is
Campbell.
correct. Bruce Campbell.
Shoelace.
Hey, you might want to. Can I help you?
Why you hate Bruce Campbell?
He is famous for playing
Ash. Yeah.
That's it.
Well, but you could say the same thing about like people like Liam Neeson, dude.
Liam Neeson
That's
has done.
Qui-Gon
that's
Jinn.
not
That's not even comparable.
No. I mean, like Taken.
Greatest
You know, like
Jedi of all
Taken always.
time.
Well, you're right on that. You're totally right on that.
He's such a baddie. I loved him.
What else?
All right, last question. Oh,
Unknown. Okay.
okay. Last question. How many spider people do we see in Across the Spider-Verse? A, 155. B, 69. C, 280. D, 310.
D.
I was it. I was
Yeah.
going to say it was,
Over.
Okay, it was
Over.
either 280 or that.
It's either 280 or 310.
Over.
Would you like me to repeat them?
Over.
I'm going to say C because Michael said D.
All right, spice it up a bit.
All right. Scott is correct. 280.
Piece of shit.
Yep. 280.
Bigger Spider-Man.
At least
dinger.
280 spider people in this movie.
Damn.
At least. So what does that mean? It could be 310 then.
310.
It could be.
No, I
What?
think I remember reading something that they had to select. They were cutting spider
they-
people
they
out.
individually chose
They were
them.
like,
So it
this is
might
too
be.
many.
Yeah.
All stations, stop Spider-Man.
Having said that, how many did you catch? How many did everyone catch?
I'm not gonna count to 280.
Not that many.
On screen when you watch it, like how many did you see? You're like, oh, I know that's
That
I know
you
that's Spider-Man.
recognize.
Oh God,
I knew a good
not
at
that
least
many.
15.
I think at least a dozen times, but I would say I probably did it like 20 times. I'm like, oh, I know that one.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one.
I think
Just
I
real
was
quick
around
in
that.
passing, you know.
There was one that I kept seeing online, and even when I watched it last night, I was looking. I couldn't find Superior.
I found Superior.
Oh
Where was
yeah,
he?
I did see that one.
Yeah.
I know he's swinging in. I saw the frame of him, but when I'm watching the movie, I couldn't pick it out where it
Wait.
was.
It's right in the beginning when they're first like making their way, and it's like actually when
No,
they're.
I guess
like,
I didn't- I'm not
all
talking about
seeing
the
it.
same one.
I saw him.
Yeah, he's in the bottom left.
in the
Okay,
bottom left.
All
he's
right, guys.
swinging or something. Sorry.
All right, guys. That concludes our trivia, and thank you guys. We had a good amount of views on this segment last time, so we're hoping this becomes a regular part of the podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, stick around for more of that. As we move on to more of Across the Spider-Verse. So we see all the Spider-Men chasing Miles through Nueva York, and it's this huge chase scene. There are a bunch of the 280 plus cameos, as I mentioned at that point, and I think I saw like the original Spider-Man video game character guy in there.
Yeah, he was in there. He's like, wait, me? Like,
Yeah, we saw a spectacular Spider-Man. We had the whole
God.
pointing scene right before that too.
Yeah.
That
Which
was
was
great.
phenomenal.
who was your favorite? Like, judging based on just this movie and not any other prior knowledge, who was your best? Or who was your favorite Spider-Man? Like, out of like the random ones, not including the main characters.
That you saw.
Yeah, that you could pick
Spider
out.
Cat.
Spider.
It looks just like our cat, so it made me really
Chunky
happy.
boy.
My thing was like, who went to the universe to talk to the T-Rex and the cats right
Spider Cat got his own poster.
They get their own bracelets,
Yeah.
but like the T-Rex has to be like.
That
Mine. Oh God. I don't know. Spectacular Spider-Man. That was kind of funny.
That
That,
one,
that was pretty cool to see.
I liked that one, and I liked Spider-Man Unlimited because
The Spider-Man Unlimited one is what I was going to say.
backdropped in a bunch.
He was right there.
But
He was right there in front of
Spectacular,
you.
they got the original guy who
Yes,
voiced him, Josh Keaton. They
I
got
also-
him, and I was like, That's probably my favorite one.
So that kind of gives me hope for season 3. Like maybe, you know.
I also like the video game Spider-Man.
Yeah,
that was
good.
great.
I like the PS4 Spider-Man was in the movie,
Yes.
but then Genki's also playing the PS4
When he's writing his
Spider-Man.
essay. Yeah.
So good.
Nobody mentioned Peter parked car. I think that's my favorite.
Oh, I forgot about Peter Park's car.
That was a good one.
I audibly cackled when I saw that one.
I like the other guy he was the chunky guy who was like they were practicing and he was trying to pull the two things together.
It ran over him.
He was just like I don't know who he was. He was just like a fat Spider-Man.
There was a ton of fat Spider-Man.
Yeah, there was. I bet you like behind the scenes, those are like people who worked on them, like animators who they were just like, oh, let's put him in the movie. Like, apparently,
That was a meme from early
Canonically a
2000s.
Spider-Man,
Actually,
no.
now I'm thinking about the fat Spider-Man holding the two things together.
Can you
I'll
come
have
closer to the
look
mic,
it
Mike?
up. I'll have to look it up and show you after. But yeah, that was from a meme.
interesting. I'll look for it now because that was a funny one. And then the other cool one that I remember is, well, I read about it before, was Metro Boomin. He's a producer who did the album for this.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's another thing.
Phenomenal job.
Yeah, that was a really good one. He was the Spider-Man who had a black and white suit and said, "There's nowhere for you to run." Like that was
My bad, guys.
Yeah, that was him. That was a cool one.
My bad, guys.
Yeah. So after that whole chase scene, we're nearing the end of the movie at this point. So, well, one
What
of
we
the
thought
we
was
thought
one
they
of
were
the
like
end.
we
It was
thought
one
this
of the-
movie ended like 3 different
Yeah.
times.
But I was glad because like every time it happened, I'm like, I don't want it to end. Oh, good, it's not ending. Okay,
But
cool.
yeah, Oscar Isaac as 2099 is such a great casting choice.
I love
Oh my god,
Goosebumps.
he's just jumping all over the multiverse
He's all over
of
everything,
Marvel.
man.
He's in every franchise.
Everything.
Right now.
Him and Pedro Pascal are touching everything.
You
they
can't-
can.
yeah.
They're
having-
the nerdy daddies. That's
Hell of a
that's what it is.
decade, and it's only 3 years in for him.
I just Miguel he's my favorite Spider-Man other than Peter in like the comics, and like seeing him live, and I'm like, man,
Well, not live. You didn't see him live.
sorry, you know what I mean.
saw him animated.
Well, how do you like seeing him live if he's being portrayed as, I don't want to say a villain, but more.
Well, he's always been an asshole. You know, he was always like rough.
He wasn't like. He's just
I know he's
very,
not like quirky and doesn't do the.
Yeah.
I think that's why I always liked him, because like as a kid I'm like, oh man, these guys are really cool, like it's always jokey, but Miguel was always like, he was like, I know what I have to do. Like he knew that he had to cross the lines that other spiders wouldn't do it.
Exactly.
I was like, that's why I liked him, and they carried that over in the movie. They did it very well in the movie.
Well,
like
right, and like to go back, I think I talked to him about it the other night. We were like discussing the movie, and I was saying like, I know he's being portrayed kind of as a villain, but like, can you really
not.
call him a villain? Because he's just trying to do the right thing for
perspective.
everybody.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I mean? Like
perspective.
it's not really like he's a bad guy. He's just trying to. He's like, I don't know. It's like justice, I guess.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to follow the prophecy essentially.
No, and that's like what we're saying. Like he knows what he has, and I think he even says it in the movie. He's like, I know what I have to do.
Yeah. I think he says that somewhere.
That's Miguel's MO, and he's awesome.
He's the pragmatist out of all the
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's the most, like we need to do this. And I love how like I'm also I'm curious how they're gonna wrap up this story and what the message of it, because I think is a good life lesson is you have to understand that things might be out of your control, and maybe this is the option that you can't change your fate, and like this is what happens. It has to happen.
Or
So
it's about defining who you are and
it could
being
go either
able
way
to change your fate.
I think what they're doing there is like they're gonna go with that one. I think a more mature way is to do it with like have Miguel be sort of right in the end, but have
I don't know though.
He is that's what they're doing with a lot of villains nowadays, trying to make them more human, more likable, and that's I could totally see it going that way. Like,
I don't know if they will though. I think because like they're setting up the story. It's Miles'
'Cause the
story.
spot-
yeah, it's Miles' story, 100%.
He's my prediction is he's going to change everything. He's going to get Gwen. He's going to get his dad, and then in the end, Miguel's going to have that moment of like, oh man, this kid was right.
Well, like
because he said, you're just a kid. Like that line right there sunk with me. I'm like, all right, that's where because he is the antagonist in the movie.
Yeah.
He's going to be the
not
one
the
who
spot.
has to change and be wrong. And that line for me is like the one where it's like, okay, cool. That's the point they're trying to make. Like he's just a kid. He can't do this. Boom. He's going to
But
do
he
it in the
can,
end.
yeah.
And
well,
which is also the core of Spider-Man. He's
exactly.
But we were talking about it earlier, like with the Loki show, and like Dan, I think your shirt. I don't know if your shirt is referencing Loki.
It is. It has a Loki right here.
Yeah, so like the time police or whatever they are,
nice.
you know, like they thought for the whole time, like, oh, we have to like delete all of these divergent paths. We have to like trim all of the hedges. And then they're like, no, we don't, dude. Like, chill out.
Yeah.
You know? So like they were wrong then. So I think, like I said, we're seeing it all across. It's the theme across all of the Marvel movies, this one included.
I'm just wondering
better.
what the consequences are, though, because well, we did see the consequence is maybe it's some other external thing that Miguel isn't taking into account, but the universe imploded.
Nah, I think there's something fishy with that. Like there's definitely something fishy with that, because even though he was like, he was like, Peter, you were there. He's like, yep, I was there. You're right. You know, like he was so quick to go to that scapegoat. Like they had that shit prepared.
Oh, so we're gonna show like the downfall of Miguel. Maybe he's like,
well, there's something fishy going on there for sure. Because like, why is Miguel like, why are people trying to preserve the timeline if you know it's not that big a deal?
I don't know. To me, I'm just thinking of in terms of like things will work out on their own, right? Like if you don't, right now they're trying to police every timeline, and ones that don't get policed screw everything up. If they let it go,
exactly,
don't police anything, they'll work. Yeah, they'll work their way out. Like either the universe goes and it's supposed to, or something else happens and the universe changes. Like
I'm saying, there's something fishy with the way that the story that Miguel is spinning. You know, get it?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, yeah, Miles gets sent to Earth 42, which has been a big number throughout the first few movies.
That's
obviously.
clearly a Jackie Robinson.
It's obviously a Jackie Robinson thing, but like it was referenced. I don't know if this is the plan all along, but like it's really genius if this has been a plan all along, because the 42 has shown up since the first movie.
Yeah.
So
Well, his spider has that like tattooed on its
Yes,
back,
it
and
does.
when it bite. No, the comic book one too. Like,
Oh, really?
42 is the spider, and I think one of his costumes I think has like a 42 in it. Like it has it like worked
Like a
into the
jersey or
logo. No, it's like worked into the logo somehow.
Yeah.
I'll look it up after, but I'm pretty
so
sure.
now we can talk about the dope ass shit in Earth 42. So, yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead. I
now that
know
we got-
Scott and Mike had some stuff to talk about this.
now,
so.
now that we got to this point,
Yes.
what was your thing that made you realize that was not the right universe?
Oh.
What was your callback?
Rio's eyes.
Oh, they're green, right?
They're green.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even notice
They're
that.
brown in the original, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, well, everything was darker in tone. I was like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
I read that as like he was
Ableist,
gone.
bro. Ableist. all I'm saying, I'm colorblind. I can't see that shit, dude. Ableist.
Whose fault is that?
Yeah.
Not mine.
Damn it, genetics. Yeah, so Rio's eyes are green, and I saw that. And I'm like, something's weird. Something's off here.
Yeah.
It was when they started mentioning his hair that like I started
Yeah,
catching
that
on.
was-
Your braids out.
Well, like when
on
his mom was
purpose?
like, "Oh, your hair's different," and I was like, "That was weird to comment
was
to me. His
weird.
hair's always been the
They
same. What
had
is she
that-
talking about?"
You guys remember earlier when they had like the whole little exposition of like it was not even colored in, but his dad and everything, and the spot being like all.
Yeah, there was,
but
it was like a
you
nightmare.
saw the spider going towards Miles with the braided hair.
Oh, I didn't see
Yeah.
that.
Oh, I didn't see that.
That was
didn't see that either.
you only saw the back of his head, but you saw the braided hair of the spider
okay.
going towards him, because that was the spider that was supposed to bite the Spider-Man.
Takashi Miles.
Yes, Takashi Miles.
So it was supposed to bite
It was
Miles.
supposed to
in that
bite
universe?
Miles in that universe,
Okay.
not in.
Because it got me thinking, like, is there
other
just, but we know, yeah, okay. So then
Interesting.
then, well, that makes me think, though.
Mm-hmm.
Was Miles' 1610 universe never supposed to have, oh, wait, never mind.
There was already a Spider-Man.
Loser.
Yeah.
We get to see Uncle Aaron again, and this is obviously a universe without Spider-Man, so it's chaos everywhere. So it's just so cool to see, and I don't. I have nothing on this because it looks so cool. It's so dope the way Miles comes in, or Takashi Miles and all that stuff. I thought it was going to end right there. Just
Did
that.
I just start something?
Yes,
just
you
coined
did.
it.
And I thought it was just going to end right there. That was the first time I thought it was going to end.
Yeah, it ended. Yeah, like that's the thing. I liked Gwen's story gets wrapped up, and then a swell for the music, and I'm like, what?
Because
And
she's
then
in the
like,
right
wait a
universe. She's in Miles' universe, and she's
Yeah.
like,
Also,
shit.
another thing, I'm not sure what this means or anything, but Miles is wearing the Green Goblin colors when he's talking to 42's mom. Like he's wearing like a purple jacket with a green hoodie underneath it.
I didn't see that.
Oh.
So it's like, I'm not sure what that means, or if it's just a
that.
callback or something. But
I
don't know.
I'm sorry. I just got to talk about this. You probably cut this out, but I'm just kind of confused now because if the spider was going to bite Miles from 42, why wasn't it going to bite Peter Parker in that universe? Because there isn't a Spider-Man in that universe. So it would be Peter that would become Spider-Man. Because Miles isn't supposed to be a Spider-Man at all.
Because that spider was.
That's not really explained because like at that same rate, Jessica Drew is the correct person to be Spider-Man, and then so is Gwen in her universe. I think it's just kind of it's whoever.
It was a lost
Hobie.
spider, I'm pretty sure. So I don't.
Yeah, and Hobie and no, but
we didn't talk
but no,
about
that,
Hobie.
I mean,
Oh
that
my God.
I mean, when there's other people that are Spider-Man, that makes sense. But they specifically said that
There was a Peter Parker.
You are not supposed to be Spider-Man. Like they make him
Yeah.
a point. It's like he's the person that
I think
screwing everything
Do
up.
we
so
know
is
though
his
that
his universe though.
Yeah, do we know that 42 spider is supposed to bite that Miles? Did they say it was supposed to bite that Miles?
Or
No,
was
it
there a
didn't say
Peter
it was
Parker
just
that
supposed
it
to be
didn't
inferred
bite?
from the-
That's what
Yeah.
I mean.
It was
But-
inferred.
Yeah,
It
but
never
then
said.
Dan says you see the spider like in the flashback going to
Yeah.
bite with the curly hair. It's like or with the braids. It's like he should have been going after Peter Parker then or something. shouldn't he have
Interesting.
been?
So maybe
But
there's just a
that's-
regular
rogue
Peter Parker
spider.
walking around that universe that we don't know about.
Maybe that'll be
old
explained
Peter.
in
Just
Beyond the
regular
Spider-Verse.
Peter.
Oh yeah, what if we get like 42's version?
Yeah,
of
maybe we get a
Peter?
weird.
Oh, they definitely are. They'll start
That'd
off
be really
this movie
funny.
with like, okay, here's the deal, or
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Let's do this different one
Yeah,
more time.
yeah.
Well, because it was a dystopian universe too. Like the 42 was super dystopian and like run down and shit. So I imagine there's probably like villain variants of everything.
Oh,
just
man, I
just
can't wait to
like
see them.
just like I hope we get 2099 variants.
Oh, that totally reminds me. Sorry, back in Miguel's lair, I caught it the second time.
Yeah.
Hobgoblin's glider in the back. I saw it and I was like, oh my god!
Like the
I was
2099
yeah.
universe villains
Yeah.
are some of the coolest characters in all of
Yeah,
like
they are
Marvel
really cool.
Spider-Man hood. So like to see those, and then I could see how that would translate into this 42 universe that we're potentially
All right,
seeing.
guys, quickly. Predictions for Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Gwen dies.
Okay. Bold predictions.
Spider-Gwen
Let's do
dies.
it. Bold predictions.
Really sad.
For it. You think Gwen dies?
I mean, I'm not because I saw a poster. It's fan made technically.
Okay.
You guys know Boss Logic. He's a
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He made that poster where like Miles is like trying to chase. Like they're
Oh,
all
the
both
hand,
falling, and
yeah.
like that's him. I'm not sure if that's.
I don't think that's
you know,
anything to. But I do like the idea of it going live action. I wanted it for this movie, but I think it's going to end with some version of live action at the end of Beyond the Spider-Verse.
I agree. That's my bold prediction.
Yeah.
It's got to be Venom because that's what Sony is like.
Yeah,
Meta
yeah.
has said like Venom's our center. They're gonna like fall into Venom's universe somehow.
Or Craven, depending on how that goes, I guess.
I sort of want this to just kind of be its own thing. I don't know. Like, I think if they're gonna do a third one, I think even if that one is like bonkers successful, I think they should just still go out on top. Do what Succession just did. Like they're stopping it.
Oh, well, you spoil it for people.
I don't think they will though.
No, the quality
Marvel.
of the.
I know.
Yeah, I didn't spoil it again.
I know.
It doesn't make sense to me that they would announce there's going to be a live action Miles the
There
day
is.
that Spider-Verse came out. So it's just like,
Yeah.
it's too on the nose.
Along
it's
with
like,
Spider-Man
obviously-
4 being
Yeah,
developed.
a lot-
They're gonna drag it
obviously.
out. They always drag it out.
money.
The bottom dollar, baby. Bottom dollar rules all. They're gonna drag it out.
Anybody else have any bold predictions?
I don't know. I don't want Gwen to die, but it makes sense.
I think Peter B. Parker would die.
Oh,
I don't want
I
him
could
to
see
die
that.
either.
I could see him before
No.
Gwen. Yeah.
He's
Not
like,
with the baby. No,
I
he
think
can't
so.
Nothing
now.
about a baby.
Miles'
Jeez.
dad is actually going to die. It's
so?
going to be one thing that he actually can't
Yep.
control.
Yep, that would
And then
make sense.
Gwen's going to be his support for that. And then Peter, I think, is just going to have a change of heart and stop Miguel from doing something. And it's going to end up with those both dying.
Good thought.
all of that.
Because
All of
he and
that.
Miguel are kind of like they're a little bit of a team.
Yeah.
And but
That's a
also
good thought.
the reason I think Gwen is going to die is because they clearly set it up in every other universe. Spider-Gwen or Gwen Stacy
Yes.
doesn't get with Spider-Man, doesn't work out.
well,
Yeah, but
that's
they-
if they are together, though, I think.
They
So,
have to
like,
change something though too. Like that's the whole like Miles is now breaking canon in multiple ways. Like one of those has to change and work. It's either his father doesn't die, or he's with Gwen.
You said it
Maybe
earlier.
both.
You know, like there's always a way that the universe is going to correct itself.
Yeah.
You know, so whether it's he dies now from this car crash, or he dies like in 6 years from colon cancer.
We already know Scott gives this movie a 96. Mike gives it a 90. What is everybody else giving this movie? Alyssa?
Are we going by CGC still?
I think that's the theme we're going with.
Is, like, odd numbers are a thing, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'd say 9.7.
The 97.
No,
All right.
Yeah.
All right,
That's
Sean?
all right, though.
Well, that's why I was
You
asking.
would do 9.8.
9.8 then. Yeah.
That's a 98.
I'm
Sean?
gonna get trash all over this. I'm gonna get trash.
63.
No,
Lower than that?
I didn't like those physics.
If you go
man.
lower than 8, you're dead to me.
jeez Louise.
You think it was that bad?
I mean, like I said, man, I had some problems with it. Even knowing,
But below an 8?
yeah,
probably,
man.
I would say like a 7.5.
Dude, yeah, that's aggressive.
Yo.
That's aggressive.
I
Don't
mean,
even
you
come
were-
at him in the comments. We'll take care of him now.
we got your back. We got your back.
He was really upset about the upside down physics.
Oh my god.
Well, not that too. I mean, like I said, the to be continued. That was whack.
He said that was happening.
And it's like a typical Marvel thing.
But
Like, I
it's like,
expected
the
it.
The
at
movie's
this
gonna
point.
have a sequel. God damn it! 4 out of 10.
but right then they were like there was so many good points to like, all right, let's end the movie here, and then we can pick up later.
Oh my
there were
God.
so many moments for that.
There was
You've
a
never
few
seen a
at the
second
end,
movie
but
in a trilogy?
Never before in my life. Never before in my life. Who
This
told
is
me
the
this was
first
gonna
time I
happen?
went to
So
a theater.
that's the thing, though. I think what they were trying to do is like, obviously we can't wrap up Miles' story because that's very much the two-parter. But we do wrap up Gwen's story, because she starts and ends the movie, and now she's got a whole gang of Spider-Man going to help Miles. That's
gonna
her
dope.
arc, and they at least give us that. I understand the
We
whole
get Nick
fact.
Cage back in the next one.
Do we though? Because he wasn't.
Well, he was
wasn't
Spider-Man Noir was
Spider-Man
there.
Noir was in the
Barely.
end.
Noir
He
was
was there,
there.
but he wasn't voicing.
Well,
Neither
I know,
was,
but
obviously,
dude,
what's
they're
his name?
teasing.
But his
He's gonna
face
be
was
in the
there,
next
so
movie.
he'll be
gotta
there.
But what I'm saying is that it's like I understand why like everybody loves Into the Spider-Verse because it's such a contained its own thing, and that might be the most well-rounded overall Spider-Man story from start to finish. This movie, I had way more fun watching this one than the Into the Spider-Verse though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And like the character beats and the writing and and the new villains with Miguel and Spot and like it's
Antagonist. He's not a villain. He's an antagonist.
I'm gonna give it a 95. I think it's it's a 5-star movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, 95. I think it just hits that bar. There are little things to nitpick here and there, and I get it, but
I don't remember what I gave Into the Spider-Verse, but it's also up there.
I gave Into the Spider-Verse a 4.5 on Letterboxd.
I think I gave this one a 4.5 on Letterboxd. So I think this one's going to be a 92 for me. It was great. I had a lot of fun watching it, more so than the first one. But again, it's like Scott said, it's like a 98 and a 96. They're very close together. I'm going to say the same thing.
Also-
This is a 92. The other one's a 90.
Fun fact: as of filming this, I'm fairly positive. I didn't actually fact check this. It is the highest rated movie on Letterboxd at the moment.
It is.
Yep.
It is.
4.8, 4.7.
But how long is that gonna last?
And not
It'll
far
a
out.
couple weeks, maybe.
Really?
That great of until
Well,
the
we
third
all
one
keep
comes
voting
out.
for it.
I think the one that has
It's a
staying
4.7 on Letterboxd right now.
The one that has the staying power, I think, obviously is Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's like a 4.3 right now.
Let's find out.
So, and like that's insanely high. I think The Godfather's like a 4.2 or something.
4.4, Everything Everywhere.
Well, look, yeah, that's crazy.
Which also an amazing movie.
So, mark your calendars. March 29th, 2024. Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out. But until then, we're Seen It Before. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok with the handle @SeenItBeforecast. That's SCENE, It Beforecast. And on Twitter with the handle SIB_pod. I'm Dan.
I'm Danny. You can find me on Instagram at Danny_Was, my Letterboxd and Serialized at DJ Was, or my YouTube channel, which is just Danny Was.
Sean, Scott, Mame Men.
Mame Men.
Mame Men, check us out: Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, all that jazz at Mame Men Podcast.
What do you guys do?
We play retro arcade games.
Retro machines.
Yep. We built a cool arcade.
Ramondo Arcade,
Ramondo
patent
Arcade,
pending.
patent pending. And we play typically beat 'em ups. We'll play other games, but we're gonna be.
We played The Simpsons when we were on with you guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we
Yep.
did a crossover event. We played The Simpsons. We did it here at the Seen It Before studio, which is really cool. You can
Actually,
check
in
that
the
out.
room you're in right now. But
Yeah, check that out. It's still up on Twitch. Play The Simpsons. We're about to drop a recent one. Spoiler alert! Here it comes. Woo woo. Double Dragons.
Double Dragons 2.
Double Dragons 2. We just
Because
played
our
through.
first Double Dragons
was like wonky.
Yeah, it wouldn't. The ROM wouldn't work, so it was
Double Dragons 2.
not great. And I
The
hated
Revenge.
All right, Mike, Alyssa.
I got a Facebook. You guys can send me a friend request.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitch at Apocalyptic, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, cool. We have off next week.
Bye week.
But in 2 weeks, we are back with our first half of the year roundup episode.
Right,
Movies we
right.
have not talked about on the podcast the first half of this year.
And there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them we got kind of
Just a
in
couple
the
TV
wings.
shows, too,
A couple
I
TV
think.
shows we got to talk about. Like The Last of Us, we still haven't talked about that. Oh my God.
How have you not talked
Oh
about
my
The
God,
Last
I
of
know.
Us yet?
I know.
Not much to talk about.
Zaddy.
Shut it. No, okay, we're ending it
Hate
right
this
there.
man. Hate this
don't
man.
start
Hate
this.
this
All right.
man.
Hate it.
Not much to
Don't
talk
you
about.
disrespect Daddy Pedro
There's a
Pascal.
lot of controversy happening right now. A lot of divide in this room.
All right. But yeah, so it's been an honor as usual, and see you next time.